again mentoring and educating youth of Sri Lanka. He counts over 25 years of experience in management level. So once again, thank you very much, Mr. Murtaza Yusuf Ali, and over to you. No, I'll shift this. 1 minute, I'll shift this here. You better stand here. Oh, no, I think...
Thank you, Mr. Ilyas. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you to our guest of honor, Khazana, President's Council, the committee and governors of the Baithulmal Foundation, one of the best institutions, I think, in Sri Lanka for the Muslim community. My heartfelt gratitude for you for doing the great work that you all are doing. You must be giving up a lot of your leisure time here and your family time. I'm very grateful for that. Mr. Ilyas promoted me today. I'm not the chairman of the Hemal group, but I chair the healthcare companies of Hemal, which is Hemal's hospitals, Hemal's pharmaceuticals and medicines. And I've had a lot of my growth and experience has come from that. How many of you can sort of understand my English? Does you want every word to be translated in Tamil? Generally, I see more nods among the ladies than the boys, because I think the ladies are reading more than the boys. You have asked one gentleman to please help me a little bit on some of the most important things that I'd like to say. I want you to start with a small exercise. I want you to close your eyes. Maybe even gentlemen here also might enjoy this exercise. Just close your eyes for 1 minute. Take a deep breath and just get into a relaxed position. Think of a time when you went through some great difficulty in life, some big challenge in life. Look, abhiyogya. ජීවිතේ තිබුණ කාලයක් ගැන පොඩ්ඩක් හිතන්න. It could have been a family problem, it could have been something in your school, something in your neighborhood. And think of how you overcame that problem, or you managed to cope with it or live with it. කොහොමද මේ අභියෝගය කොහොමද ඒක overcome කරන්නේ? Think of the qualities of your life. Think of the strengths that you brought to deal with this situation. What were those strengths that you used to cope with this situation? Make a note of these strengths. Make a note of these qualities that you had that helped you to overcome it. You are here today. Congratulations. You have won the scholarship. You must have overcome that problem. Think of those qualities. Think of those characteristics. If you like, make a small note on your phone or on a piece of paper. Make a note of 4 or 5 of those qualities and characters. So what I'm going to be talking to you all today is about something called strengths to build your resilience. Now Sri Lanka is going to go through a very difficult time. We are all going to go through a very difficult time. When you go to university, you will have a difficult time because the expenses are so high to live. If you are living in a big city, it's very... So how are you going to overcome this problem? කොහොමද මේ ආර්ථික ප්‍රශ්නයට කොහොමද විසඳන්නේ? කොහොමද Tamanට මොනද? So we will talk a little bit about this aspect that is not covered in schools, in education in schools, and this is part of the work I do. My wife and I build a foundation to teach these important life skills. Now in school, in our homes, most of the time, our parents and teachers tell you, you must improve this, you must improve that. This is not good in you. This is not good in you. But a lot of scientific research, especially done at the University of Pennsylvania by a famous man called Dr. Martin Seligman. He was the father of positive psychology. And a Muslim gentleman who was also a world scholar in this subject called Dr. Tayyib Rashid have done a lot of research into this and found that there is no point in focusing on the deficiencies. You can't, as an adult, do very much about your deficiencies. But your strengths are very, very helpful to overcome adversity, to overcome difficult situations in life. But most of the time we don't know our strengths. We know we are strong in maths, we know we are strong in Tamil, we know we are strong in music, we can draw well. Those are traits, those are skills, those are some strengths. But and those strengths, usually you habitually don't have it. Sometimes it's very difficult to develop it. Now what I'm going to talk to you about are character strengths which you can keep on improving and developing until you die. Intelligence is very difficult to develop after you're about 15 or 16. IQ is hard to develop. But this is in the subject of emotional intelligence, and this is possible to practice and master. And if you master these, and if you learn these well, it can help you to live a happier life and to live a more successful life. And this is based on science, based on hard science. And if you are interested, I will send you the websites, the links. You can read the scientific papers on this. I'm so happy that our foundation is working with the National Institute of Education to try to incorporate this into the Sri Lankan syllabus. So the new syllabus that will come will have this strength-based resilience. So you might be the last A-level batch that may not be exposed to this. So now I'm going to tell you what some of these characters, there are 24 generic character strengths all over the world. Any culture, any civilization, there are 24 character strengths. And I'm going to read them out to you one by one. And try and think about the top 5 that you may have. The top 5 character strengths that you may have. That exercise we did about overcoming a difficult time, you can think of what those qualities are and try and I'll ask my colleague here to translate in Tamil because you must get the words and the meaning right. So I'm going to go through the 24 character strengths which can be very, very helpful to live a happy and successful life. Some of these are mentioned in the Quran also. I will refer to them when it comes to that. So the first strength is creativity and originality. So as I go along, try to make a note on your phone or on a book. Which are the ones that you think, that's me. My friends have told me. The advantage, I will tell you the advantages later. So, creativity and originality. Curiosity and interest in the world. Now, this is one of my top 5 strengths. I am very, very curious. I want to know why everything works the way it is, why it is, who is doing. So creativity, that has helped me a lot in my life. Curiosity and interest in the world. Curious people tend to read, tend to listen carefully. Third one, open mind. Please, would you explain that?
கிரியேட்டிவிட்டி அண்ட் ஒரிஜினாலிட்டி என்று சொன்னால் ஆக்கப்பூர்வமான அசல் தன்மை உடையவாக, அதாவது நீங்கள் உங்களுக்கு உண்மையானதாக இருக்க வேண்டும். ஒரிஜினாலிட்டி அசல் தன்மை, இன்னொருவரை காப்பி பண்ணாமல் உங்களுடைய உண்மையான தன்மையை வெளிப்படுத்தல். That is what creativity and yeah. Curiosity என்று சொன்னால் எதையும் எல்லாவற்றையும் அறிந்து கொள்ளக்கூடிய ஒரு பரந்த மனப்பான்மை. புத்தகத்தை படிக்க வேண்டும், இன்னொருவர் அடையும் அவரது சாதனைகளை பற்றி புரிந்து கொள்ளல், வாழ்க்கையில் எதையும் உணரக்கூடியதாக, அதாவது அறிவுபூர்வமாக சிந்திக்கக்கூடியவராக இருத்தல் வேண்டும்.
Open mindedness and critical thinking.
திறந்த மனம், அதாவது ஓப்பனாக இருக்க வேண்டும். திறந்த மனமுடையவராகவும் விமர்சன தன்மை, எதையும் விமர்சிக்கக்கூடிய மனம் உள்ளவராக இருத்தல் வேண்டும்.
Love of learning is another one of my strengths. I'm constantly learning, following course. Any given time I'm following some course of learning. Love of learning.
தொடர்ந்தும் எதையும் படிக்கக்கூடியவராக இருத்தல் வேண்டும்.
Perspective and wisdom.
அதாவது முன்னோக்கு, எதிர்காலத்தை முன்னோக்கக்கூடியவராக, ஞானமுள்ளவராக இருத்தல்.
In the Quran they talk about the sixth sense, akal or nur, the light, or the heart, khalid, or insight, basra. This is, I think, what we mean by perspective and wisdom. So Arabic translation instead of Tamil.
Yeah.
Bravery and valor. I'm quite low in this one.
பிரேவரி என்று சொன்னால் வீரமுடையவராக, எதையும் எதிர்நோக்கு கொள்ளக்கூடிய மனப்பான்கு உள்ளவராக இருத்தல் வேண்டும்.
Persistence and diligence.
அதாவது எதையும் தொடர்ந்து செய்யக்கூடியதாக, கண்டினியூட்டி, தொடர்ந்தும் எதையும் செய்யக்கூடியதாக, விடாமுயற்சி உடையவராக இருத்தல்.
Next one you don't see very much in society these days. Integrity, authenticity and honesty.
அதாவது நேர்மை உள்ளவராக வாழ்க்கையில் இருத்தல், எதை செய்தாலும் நேர்மை இருத்தல் வேண்டும்.
Next one is also very very important one, again highlighted in all the religions. Vitality, zest, enthusiasm and energy. In Sinhala you say gyamma kira.
அதாவது உற்சாகம் உள்ளதாக, எதையும் செய்யும் பொழுது ஒரு காரியத்தை உற்சாகத்துடன், காலையில் எழும் பொழுதே உற்சாகத்துடன் எழுந்து காரியங்களை செய்யக்கூடியவராக இருத்தல் வேண்டும்.
Next one is I think the ladies are better than the men in this. Love, capacity to love and to be loved.
அன்பு காட்டக்கூடியவராக, இன்னொருவர் மீது, ஏழைகள் மீது, தன்னுடைய உற்றார் மீது அன்பு கொள்ளக்கூடியவராக இருத்தல் வேண்டும்.
Next one is called social intelligence. Now I see this is a big problem when I see my children. They are always busy in the phone. They don't understand what is happening around them and the reaction they are having to other people. Because your mind is in the phone and waiting for the next message or social media post, you don't have social intelligence. It's a very powerful strength to have.
அதாவது சமூக சொசைட்டியை பற்றி kindness and
kindness and generosity. I think many kind donors have been generous to give your scholarships, so it's a very important one. Kindness and generosity. In the Buddhism you have dana, in Islam you have sadaqah or zakat, and I think all the religions, this is a very very core thing, especially when you are facing difficulties.
இந்த வாழ்க்கையில் நாம் இரக்க சிந்தையுள்ளவராக அல்லது பரோபகாரம், அதாவது எல்லோருக்கும் உதவி செய்யக்கூடியவராக இருத்தல் வேண்டும்.
Next one is citizenship, teamwork and loyalty. This is something that is coming into the new syllabus of Sri Lanka. Citizenship, work for the common good, not for only yourself.
அதாவது ஏதாவது செய்யும் பொழுது தனக்கு சுயநலம் இல்லாமல் விசுவாசத்துடன், அந்த ஒரு டீமில் ஒரு வேலை செய்யும் பொழுது விசுவாசத்துடன் வேலை செய்வதோடு குழுவுக்காக உழைக்க வேண்டும். குழு பணி என்று சொல்லப்படும் டீம் ஒர்க்.
Fairness, equity and justice. fairness, equity and justice. I believe that was the main mission of our Rasulullah. Prophet Muhammad was actually trying, that was his main revolution. Today I get very annoyed because when you think about Islam, they say haram, halal, this, that, don't do this, how the head like this, wear the beard like this. The Prophet's main mission was fairness, equity and justice. There were very rich people, very rich tribes, very poor tribes, they were not helping. People have missed the point of Islam. The point of the Prophet's long crusade, long mission is to bring fairness, equality and justice. Justice to women, especially. He played a foremost part in that. So if you're in the Ummah, if you're a Muslim, this is a very important part of going to Jannah. To work for fairness, equality and justice.
அதாவது இஸ்லாத்தில் சமத்துவம், நேர்மை, எல்லோரையும் ஒரு மாதிரி நடத்தக்கூடிய பண்பு. எமது ஸல்லல்லாஹு அலைஹி வஸல்லம் அவர்களுக்கு இந்த பண்பு இருந்தது. இதனால்தான் அவர் எல்லா ட்ரைப்ஸையும் ஒன்றுபடுத்தக்கூடியவராக அவர் இருந்தார். தலைமைத்துவம், வாழ்க்கையில் தலைமைத்துவம் தேவை.
Now in Sri Lankan classroom, this is not encouraged at all, I find. Unless you do extracurricular activities and sports in school, it's very difficult to build this quality leadership. But as you go to university, go and practice leadership. Take part in societies and activities. All my friends who got very high marks in school are not doing very well. Those of us who somewhere in the middle but did lot of other things seem to have done better in life. Because we learned leadership by doing all kinds of other activities.
அதாவது வாழ்க்கையில் தலைமைத்துவ பண்பு உடையவராக இருந்தால் எதையும் சாதிக்கக்கூடியதாக இருக்கும். நாம் ஒரு வகுப்பில் அவருடைய நண்பர்கள் நிறைய பேர் இருக்கிறார்கள். ஆனால் அவர்கள் சிறந்த மார்க்ஸ் எடுத்திருந்தாலும் தலைமைத்துவ பண்புகள் அவரிடம் இருக்கவில்லை. ஆனால் பலர் மார்க்ஸ் எடுக்காவிட்டாலும் அவர்களிடத்தில் தலைமைத்துவ பண்பு இருந்ததன் காரணமாக அவர்கள் இன்று வாழ்க்கையில் ஒரு நல்ல நிலையில் இருக்கிறார்கள். அதனால் நாம் எமது தலைமைத்துவ பண்பை வெளிக்கொணரல் வேண்டும்.
Next one is forgiveness and mercy. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rahman Ibrahim. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. Every time the Prophet would emphasize, forgive. First try to forgive before you try to fight.
அதாவது மன்னிப்பு தன்மை உடையவராக இருத்தல் வேண்டும். நாம் எவரையும் மன்னிக்கக்கூடியவராக. ரசூலுல்லாஹி கரீம் ஸல்லல்லாஹு அலைஹி வஸல்லம் அவர்கள் வாழ்க்கையில் நிறைய பேரை மன்னித்திருக்கிறார்கள். இது வாழ்வில் இருக்க வேண்டிய ஒரு முக்கியமான பண்பு.
I hope you are making a note of what your strengths are, what you think your strengths are. When you go home today, ask your family, ask your friends, what are your strengths from this list? Humility and modesty.
அதாவது வாழ்க்கையில் பணிவு, அடக்கம், நாம் எந்த நிலையையும் அடையலாம், உயர போகலாம். ஆனால் வாழ்வில் பணிவும் அடக்கமும் மிகவும் முக்கியம்.
Next one is prudence, caution and discretion. Prudence, caution and discretion. And I think this is like the meaning of sabr in the Quran. I think this is being patient, enduring and difficulty.
அதாவது வாழ்க்கையில் நாம் விவேகமாக நடந்து கொள்ள வேண்டும். வேகமாக இல்லாமல் விவேகமாக. அது இன்று மிகவும் முக்கியமான ஒரு பண்பாக தேவைப்படுகின்றது.
Same thing here, self-regulation and self-control. We are so lucky to have a religion where we can pray 5 times a day, where we do where we have Ramzan, fasting. All of this is to build self-regulation and self-control. We are one of the luckiest people who have this built into our way of life.
அதாவது ஒரு சுய கட்டுப்பாடு, வாழ்க்கையில் சுய கட்டுப்பாடு இருத்தல் வேண்டும். நாங்கள் நோன்பு பிடிப்பது கூட எமது சுய கட்டுப்பாட்டை எடுத்துக்காட்டுவதற்கே ஆகும். எமது மதம்தான், இஸ்லாமிய மதம்தான் இந்த சுய கட்டுப்பாட்டை அந்த மதத்தில் உள்ளடக்கியுள்ளது.
Appreciation of beauty.
பாராட்டக்கூடியதாக இருக்க வேண்டும். ஏதாவது ஒரு அழகுத்தன்மையை அல்லது ஏதாவது நல்ல விடயங்களை நாம் பாராட்ட வேண்டும், அப்ரிஷியேட் பண்ண வேண்டும்.
Next one is my high strength, gratitude. I
ந-
try to practice gratitude every day. Every morning I try to think of 5 new things I'm grateful for. This is one of the most important practices you can do to improve your well-being and your mental health.
அதாவது நாம் நன்றி உணர்வு உள்ளவராக இருக்க வேண்டும். ஏதாவது எமக்கு யாராவது ஏதாவது செய்திருந்தால் நாம் நன்றி கூறுபவராக நன்றி உணர்வு உள்ளவராக இருந்தால் வாழ்க்கையில் நாம் நிச்சயமாக முன்னேற முடியும்.
Hope, optimism and future mindedness. Think about it. Think that everything will come out well. Having that state. That also our prayers help us to do that.
எதிர்காலத்தை பற்றி நல்ல நம்பிக்கை உடையவராக எதுவும் நல்லதாகவே நடக்கும் என்றொரு நம்பிக்கை எம் மனதில் இருத்தல் வேண்டும்.
Humor and playfulness.
நகைச்சுவை தன்மை உள்ளவராக இருக்க வேண்டும். நாங்கள் எதையும் சிரிக்கக்கூடியவராக நகைச்சுவை உள்ளவராக இருத்தல் வேண்டும்.
We have heard how Rasulullah used to put his grandchildren and like a horse he used to go and used to play the fool with them. So even he has that quality. And finally, spirituality and religiousness, which I hope I don't have to explain. But again, something that we are blessed to have in our religion, that we get to practice spirituality and religiousness. Everything we do, we say Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We sanctify every act we do with spirituality, and that is so well built into our culture.
அதாவது நாம் சமயப்பற்றுள்ளவராக எமது சமயத்தின் மீது நம்பிக்கையுள்ளவராகவும் அந்த சமயத்தை இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ணக்கூடியவராகவும் நாங்கள் இருத்தல் வேண்டும். ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ. ஆல் ரைட், தேங்க்யூ.
Two things. One is, when you are planning your week, try to find opportunities to practice these strengths. Because when you practice your character strengths, you get into a state of what's called in English state of flow. This is the work of Dr. Martin Seligman and all these psychologists. You get into a state of flow and you don't even see the time passing by. So for example, I like to learn, I'm curious, so every week I try to set some time to read something new, to learn some new things, to follow some course. If I don't do that, I can't get through the challenges, the difficulties of my week. The second thing I want you to do is to recognize these qualities when you are faced with a very difficult task. When you are faced with a very, you go and find a lot of assignments. You might face ragging in the university. You might face difficulties. Think of your character strengths and how you can use these character strengths to overcome this difficulty. So when you are facing a difficult challenge in life, think of your character strengths. Keep on trying to develop these character strengths. Express it. Express these strengths of yours. Keep on developing it for your whole life. Final thing, recognize these character strengths among your family and friends. And celebrate that. And tell people that. You are a very honest person. Alhamdulillah, very good. You have a lot of creativity. You are a person who is very grateful. You have a lot of patience. Sabr. So recognize that in your friends and family and celebrate that. Because that brings your family close. You make good friendships. When you go to university, you will have to make new friends. Recognize these qualities and congratulate them and sincerely appreciate these qualities. And if you do practice this throughout your life, you will be able to overcome all the difficulties you may face, and you can be a happier and a more successful person. For more information, you can go to the University of Pennsylvania website. Actually, it has a survey, a free survey that you can do, and you can actually identify your top 5 strengths. So it's called AuthenticHappiness.org. That's the psychology department of University of Pennsylvania. AuthenticHappiness.org. You can go to strengthbasedresilience.com, or you can go to the website of our organization, but I think we still need to update the website a bit, but it's called learnforlifelanka.org. Please think about this, and if it's working in your life, share it with others also. I hope I haven't taken too much time. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best for the 3 or 4 most important years of your life.
Thank you very much, Mr. Murtaza Yusuf Ali. I would say of the several matters that you discussed, that you spoke to the students, to all of us, this kindness and generosity hits me very hard. Honestly, if you are kind to somebody else, keep this in mind. That kindness will return back to you. You do some good to somebody, that goodness will come back to you. That has happened to all of us in any little way. You help somebody when he is in difficulty, and you will not know when that help will come back to you. It is actually Allah's rahmat. So thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf Ali. I think I should get you to speak to the law faculty students. This will really help us because I'm quite heavily involved with the law faculty, and that will really be useful. My next task is to introduce my good friend, Mrs. Farzana Jamil. Known to me many years ago as my neighbor's niece. She was Farzana Yusuf, daughter of a famous lawyer, and coming from family of lawyers and doctors, judges. She had done very well in life. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, and we pray for her further. She hailed from Kandy, and that's how I knew her when she used to come to MacLeod Road to meet her uncle and auntie who are no more, and I was their neighbor. She joined the University of Law and passed in 1986, and thereafter joined the Law College, joined the Supreme Court admitted as a lawyer in 1988, did her LLM in 1998, and again LLM in the University College of London in 2004. She has a wide teaching experience. I won't embarrass her where she teaches, but I know she teaches at home also. She has taught at the Open University of Sri Lanka, University of Colombo, and at the University of Advanced Legal Studies. That's another place where we all lawyers and law students can get our further legal studies done with. And she teaches international trade law and administrative law. She is also a visiting lecturer and examiner at the Postgraduate Institute of Management and of the University of Sri Jayawardenepura for the MBA program in taxation and tax policy. So can you see, she had done administrative, she had done international, and she had done taxation. Great. She joined the Aegis department in 1990 as a junior state counsel and has risen to this post of senior additional solicitor general. She is also having judicial experience since 2016. She is a visiting judge of the Court of Appeal in Fiji. Fiji is another country which takes a lot of our great minds to write judgments there and hear cases, and she is one of them. She has got several awards. Zonta Women's Award for Achievement in Law, Gold Award of Law again, and also got the Abhiman Lear from the President. Once again, congratulations to you for all your achievement, and I welcome you to say a few words. Thank you.
Is this the mic? What is this? Both are mics. Bismillah ar-Rahman Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Can you hear? Can they hear? Can hear? Yeah? Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Ilyas, President's Council, my good friend and senior in the profession, and the President of the Ceylon Baithulmal Fund. Vice President Mr. Haq, Secretary Mr. Nazvi Rahman, Assistant Secretary Mr. Asaf Khan, Treasurer Mr. Feroz Noor, distinguished members of the Governing Council, special invitees, my good friend Murtaza Yusuf Ali, iconic businessman and human being whom I feel privileged to know for over 40 years, I think almost. Most importantly, is known to be such a wonderful human being. I'm happy to be here on the same stage with him. And of course, the most important people here today, you, the winners of the scholarships, the awardees for today. Assalamu alaikum. I'm honored to be here today amongst what can be properly described as Colombo's probably most distinguished Muslim gentlemen engaged in social service in the name of Allah. The Baithulmal is not alien to me, and I remember on many occasions on which my late father-in-law, the late Justice Jamil, spent many hours attending to work here, and I would come to drop or pick him up on many occasions. I know he would be pleased that I am here with you today. I will try to say a few words in Tamil, and if I fail miserably, I'm taking the liberty of requesting Mr. Noor, I think the gentleman who did the translation, to assist me if and when the need arises. So forgive me, but I will try. என்னை இன்று இங்க அழைத்ததற்கு என்னது மனமார்ந்த நன்றி. உங்களுனை இங்கன் இருப்பத்தில் நான் மிகவும் பெருமை புரிகிறேன். இந்த புலமை பரிசுக்கித்ததா என்பது வருடங்களாக இளம் பெண்கள் தமது படிப்பை பல்கலைக்கழகத்தில் தொடர்வதற்கு உதவி செய்தது. அறிவை வளர்ப்பது என்மக்கு மட்டும் உதவுவது இல்லை. பொது நல்லதுக்கை அதுவகு மசாலி முர்சலாவை வளர்க்கும் என்று பெரியவர் சொல்லியிருக்கிறார். பல்கலைக்கழகம் எமர்து புத்தக அறிவை மட்டும் வளர்க்க செல்லும் இடம் இல்லை. கூத்தறிவு பொது அறிவு மற்றவர்களுடன் சேர்ந்து வாழ்வதற்கான அறிவு என்று பலவிதமான திருமக்கள் நீங்கள் அங்க பெற வேண்டும். இந்த வாய்ப்பை நீங்கள் எல்லோரும் நன்றாக பாவிப்பீர்கள் என்று எனக்கு தெரியும். உங்கள் எல்லோருக்கும் எனது மனம் உருவாத வாழ்த்துக்கள். நன்றி. I don't know if I got it right, but I wanted to try.
Good.
So, the charity and assistance rendered by the Baithulmal Fund has done much to achieve its mission by serving the Muslim community through the alleviation of poverty. I congratulate the fund for its uninterrupted service. I am told this is the 7th year of awarding scholarships to university students. I know that the scholarships that are being awarded today will make a significant and meaningful difference in the lives of the recipients. The noble and praiseworthy act of charity will ensure that you receive the life skills and prepare you for the many challenges that you will face in a competitive society and from life in general. And you are truly blessed to have heard Murtaza give you this free lesson which would have cost you many dollars if you had to listen to it elsewhere. So Allah has His own way of filling in the gap. I couldn't have filled that gap in. And just there, when I said the several life skills, He already has given you that. Alhamdulillah. The emphasis on a holistic approach to assistance for poverty alleviation is what has set this organization apart from many other charitable organizations that exist in our country today. And I want to wholeheartedly acknowledge that. So today, I want to start by congratulating the most important people present here today, the awardees of the scholarships. Today is a special day for you all, and it signifies the dedication, hard work, and excellent performance that has earned you this award. I would like to, in passing, say something brief about the importance of education. You may have heard this many times before, but my speech will be incomplete if I leave you to that without telling that to you today. As we know, the very first word when the Quran was sent down to us was Ikra Bismi Rabbikal Lazi Halak. We all know that. It was revealed to Prophet Muhammad by Allah, and Ikra means to read. In my mind, this signifies the extent of the importance that Islam gives to the reading and the acquisition of knowledge. We know it is our duty to acquire knowledge. It is not a privilege or something that you might choose to do if you want to. It is your duty. The importance and excellence of knowledge has been highlighted both directly and indirectly in over 500 places in the Quran. Indeed, one of the essential duties and responsibilities of prophethood was the dissemination of knowledge and wisdom to all persons, irrespective of gender. Indeed, those who quote the verses of the Quran in respect of the veil, I mean the V-E-I-L, as an argument against women leaving home in pursuit of knowledge, I would say, with respect to them, are also severely misguided. It is internationally recognized that education is a key tool for development. The international community has emphasized the importance of education for humanity through many declarations and conventions internationally. Thus, it is obligatory for governments, international institutions, and civil society organizations like this to advocate for the availability and provide quality educational opportunities and make education truly accessible to all. Education is the true key to empowerment. And we know that education, knowledge is power. And by empowerment, I do not mean being powerful in a domineering way. True empowerment in my mind is the ability to do what we are required to do and ordained by Allah in a way that is befitting of both our faith and gender. And how do we do this? Only by education. I would like to say a few words on the place of education for women in Islam. Every Muslim woman has a separate legal personality. You might wonder what this line means. Murtaza will know. Long before the West, and Mr. Ilyas of course, long before the West created laws for women, long before the Married Women's Property Ordinance was enacted in England, giving women the right to even vote, Islam had already made a woman a femme sole. That's a Latin term for independent woman. She is an independent legal person. Women thus had the right to enter into contracts on their own. She could conduct her own business. She could possess and deal with her property as she wished. There was no community of property known in Islam. So, as I say to my husband, your money is my money is also my money. And you can go ahead and say that to all your husbands. Because there is no community of property in Islam, and they are duty bound to provide, we are not. That is how privileged we are as Muslim women. Right? So, women had the right to enter into contracts on their own. Now, all of these rights that are there for us, given in the Quran, sometimes sought to be taken away by the men because of ignorance, not because they are bad people. These obstacles can be overcome only by empowerment of society, both male and female, through knowledge that is authentically Islamic. We all know that the Holy Prophet himself worked for the noble lady Khadija, who was a businesswoman in her own right. This fact is not given much positive publicity, and it is such things that lead to those in our community misinterpreting the place and role of education for women in Islam. I have personally heard educated professional men tell me in these words, I don't think I should send my girl to university because, if she becomes too qualified, she will be disqualified in the marriage market. This has been told to me by fathers who are engineers, fathers who are doctors, fathers who are so-called educated. But let me tell you why those fathers plead to be in that position. And you will understand. If women have been denied the rights given by Islam, this is only because of societal ignorance and the continued perpetration of unjustified social beliefs. This can be eliminated only through a process of true education. And it is in this context that I seek to emphasize the mandatory importance for the education and upliftment of women, coupled with changing the mindsets of our sons and the men in our lives to accept and value educated women and not feel threatened by their education ever. Do not presume that a woman who has a string of degrees is bad marriage material. This has been told to me many a time. There's a presumption. Education and knowledge are key to good behavior, not to bad behavior, and to good citizenship, not to bad citizenship. An inclusive mind, not an exclusive mind, who thinks that those of us who follow Islam, those of us who cover our heads, those of us who pray in a particular way, are the only good people in this world. Being judgmental like that is a bigger crime than not engaging in mandatory rules of Islam. So therefore, education is the surest way to empowerment. What then is our duty as Muslims in the context of empowerment and education? Every Muslim, irrespective of gender, is duty-bound to seek knowledge. The Holy Prophet was known to have said, whoever educates a man educates one single person, but whoever educates a female educates a nation. This special role accorded to women, in my humble view, indicates clearly her importance in the larger scheme of human relationships. By here comparing her to a nation, Islam accorded to her a glorious position of true power. My father-in-law always told me, remember that as the woman, you are the queen of the home. Everybody else comes second. I do make use of that whenever it's convenient to me. And I suggest that you do too. In exemplifying this precept, it is believed that the Holy Prophet himself had allocated a separate day on which he attended to the educational needs of women. Women were known to have engaged in discussions with the Holy Prophet and even engaged in opposing the ideas of certain caliphs. I'm not saying that we have to oppose everything, no. Thus, it is clear that silent ignorance was not necessarily regarded as feminine and desirable. Don't mix up the two. But we must remember, Islam seeks to bestow on us women a system that gives women self-esteem, confidence and security without having to feel that she must behave like a man to be treated as important. It is true that there are disparities in educational opportunities between men and women. In many Muslim countries, now this is documented. In the UN report, this is documented. And religion, particularly Islam, is often cited, quite justifiably, as a major stumbling block to women's advancement in some countries. Studies have shown that in many parts of Asia, Africa, Southeast Asia and Africa, women's acquisition of knowledge is fervently opposed and regarded as secondary compared to men. And there are so many restrictions placed on women acquiring knowledge that it has become almost meaningless and impossible for women to acquire a decent standard of education, let alone go to university. All this is often done mistakenly in the name of Islam. This is indeed not Islamic and in fact is the very antithesis of Islam. So this is a sad reflection upon some Muslims and the societies that we have built, since knowledge is the important pillar upon which the edifice of Islam has been raised. And as I said, the very fact that the first surah and the words revealed was Iqra indicates to us the importance given to the acquisition of knowledge and reading. The history of Islam, which I don't want to repeat, is replete with the mention of women who obtained distinguished positions in the field of hadith, science, the science of interpretation, jurisprudence, medical science, poetry, and calligraphy. It is thus imperative that if a nation wishes to be successful and move towards a sustainable reality, the women in that society must be given every opportunity to attain knowledge and education. So I would like to say that the transformative power of education, how it transforms society through education, cannot be denied. When you give the gift of education, you must also give your children the freedom to try and fail. As Murtaza emphasized, some of us have strengths, we have weaknesses. So you build on your strengths, not wallow in the difficulty of your weaknesses. I think that was his message, if I got it right. So when you give your children the gift of education, give them the freedom to try and fail. Not everybody is equally gifted. Life is full of surprises. Being open to the unexpected, turns in the road, is an important part of success. If you try to plan every turn, you may miss the wonderful twists. In the years ahead, you, the young girls and boys who are the special invitees for today, will face many challenges of having to keep up with a constantly changing world. We need to be open and flexible to embrace this change. And the winds of change may sometimes try to blow us off course. And if we are not anchored to a set of core values, we will be blown away. Whilst academic brilliance and intelligence is important, in my view, if you are not a good human being in your core, and you are not humble and kind, your academic brilliance is not of much importance. And I think that is the message that Murtaza also said. IQ is only one aspect of a successful human being. EQ, in my mind, is more important, and that is what I think he was emphasizing. You can be the most brilliant person with a string of degrees. You will be of no real use to your family and your organization if you do not know how to engage and bring about the best in others. And that is why it is said, I believe, that a good leader is a person who can get mediocre people to do exceptional work. That's the key. It's very easy for an intelligent person to answer a question paper. It takes a lot to take a mediocre or a much weaker person to become excellent. And I would urge you, as you go into university, don't be with blinkers on, tunnel vision, thinking of only I must get my GPA at 4.0 or 100 out of 100. That's only one part of your life. Try to become a good citizen and try to use the core Islamic values to be a goodwill ambassador for our community, so that our community is seen as forward-thinking, helpful, good citizen, not an obstacle to anything else, right? And I would like to leave you with this well-known thought of Nelson Mandela. We all know this, but I just want to say it. Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. To this good cause. Wassalam. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the excellent advice, excellent speech that you have told these girls and boys. I emphasize the word girls because she was mainly addressing the issues that you girls have and in the university and thereafter in life. I have personally am aware the difficulties that parents have, and they say once a girl is educated, can't find another educated boy. But do not worry about that. Allah knows best. Allah looks after everybody, and each of y'all will have a place in the society. Once again, just Farzana mentioned about Justice Jamil. Yes, he was our president for over 15 years after he retired from whilst he was in the Court of Appeal, and thereafter. We cherished his leadership, his presidency, and thank you very much for the gratitude that you have for him, and we too have the same feeling for him. So once again, much appreciated. Thank you very much, Farzana. Now we come to the most important part of the event, is the distribution of awards. Mr. Khan will take over and will call each of you all and the awards will be given. We are giving a certain amount of money in cash in the envelope that you get. Please count, and if there is anything short or more, let us know. If it is more, don't tell us. If it is short, tell us. Moreover, after that, the goes smoothly, and you all of you all, as Farzana said, each of you all benefit from this. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. I'll be calling your names. Please come over to the table and receive the award. We are giving you 6 months money today, which is actually the scholarship from January to June, and thereafter it will be sent to your bank accounts monthly throughout the duration of your respective courses. To do the honors initially, we'll call upon our chief guest, Ms. Farzana Jamil, to hand over a few scholarships. A.R. Fatima Misna. A.R. Fatima Misna. A.R. Fatima Khadija. Not that one, put it down. Fatima Shakira. Fatima Shakira. Okay, no? Fatima Shakira. Fatima Afsana. Thank you, Mrs. Jamil. Now we call upon Mr. Murtada Yusuf Ali to give over a few awards. The other two don't give her. Fatima Mafira. Then, no, AI Fatima Rushta also don't give. M.M. Mohammed Asfaq. M.M. Mohammed Asfaq. M.H. Mohammed Imas. H.F. Noor Nuza. A.M. Fatima Shala. Thank you, Mr. Murtada Uswali. Now I call upon Mr. Hussein Baila to hand over a few awards. M.A. Fatima Bashir. Washira, sorry. M. Mohammed Imas. M.F. Fatima Najila. Thank you, Mr. Baila. Now we call upon Mr. Imran Khan to hand over a few scholarships. Pfizer Khadija. M. Pfizer Khadija. M. Pfizer Khadija. M.F.B. Fatima Fazla. Matadillah. M.Y. Fatima Afsa. M.R.M. Shail Ali. Thank you, Mr. Imran Khan. We now call upon Mr. Nilamdeen to hand over a few scholarships. M.M. Mohammed Minsaf. Mohammed Minsaf. H.S. Mohammed Firnas. M.A. Fatima Aska. Other girl is not there, 24. And K.R. Fatima Shabna. Thank you, Mr. Nilamdeen. We now call upon our President, Mr. Ilyas, to hand over a few awards. M. by Fatima Farah. We call upon Mr. Nazir to hand over a few awards. M.N. Fatima Sajida. A.F. Nasiya. A.F. Nasiya. M.K. M.A. Sitti Sharafa. Thank you, Mr. Firoz Noon. Now we call upon Dr. Zainuddin to give a few awards. Nazi 36 and 37 not there. M. S. Saudun Nisa. M. S. Saudun Nisa. 39 not there. Nazi, not there. A. M. Mohammed Gerard. A. M. Mohammed Gerard. M. F. Fatima Farah. Thank you, Dr. Zainuddin. Now we call upon Mr. Nasri to hand over a few awards. M.A. Fatima Asha. We gave it. M.M. Mohammed Masri. M.A. Mohammed Ilas. Thank you, Mr. Nazri. Now we call upon Mr. Anwar to hand over a few awards. Fatima Rifka. Fatima Rifka. Fatima Riza. Fatima Afra. That's the next one out. Thank you, Mr. Anwar. Now we call upon Mr. Fadal Izzadeen to hand over a few scholarships. SF Sama Nafi, sorry, that lady is not there. Nasifa is not there. OH Fatima Ashifa. OH Fatima Ashifa. MB Fatima Rifla. 51 is not there. Nazvi, 51. Yeah, 51 is not there. 52. Fatima Fasiya. Thank you, Mr. Fadal Izzadin. Now I call upon Mr. Rushdie Dalan to hand over a few scholarships. M.H. Fatima Imasha. M.H. Fatima Imasha. A.M. Fatima Asna. M.N. A.M. Fatima Asna. M.N. Fatima Nushka. M.I. Fatima Imasha. Thank you, Mr. Rushdie Dalan. Now I call upon Mr. Zuresh Hashim to hand over a few scholarships. A.B.
Last one.
Huh?
Last
Fatima Imasha. Yeah, no, he called. No. Huh? We gave, no? Then Fatima Shafia. Fatima Shafia. Fatima Sabila. Fatima Sabila. Fatima Rashada. Thank you, Mr. Zuresh Hashim. We now call upon Mr. Moeddin Kader to hand over a few scholarships. MSF Fatima Akila. MR Fatima Samima. SS Fatima Rizka. Thank you, Mr. Moeddin Kader. Now we call upon Mr. Mehraj Sali to hand over a few scholarships, the last three. R. Fatima Rifla. M. Muhammad Nishkan. M. Abdullah. Is there anyone in the audience amongst the students who have not received their envelopes? Please check. There is 15,000 rupees in each envelope. We will be commencing payment.
He's the
Late comer. You didn't come before. What is the number? 18. 18. 18 is, he has not come. Mohammed Ramzan. Nah, you sign. No, you give it. 2,500 rupees. This year only. Give it. Gentlemen, that concludes the distribution of awards. As mentioned by the President, we had selected 200 students to receive the awards, but because of the transport issues, we only invited 65. 8 of them have excused themselves for various valid reasons, and they will be sent their monies via bank remittance. Over to the President for the rest of the proceedings.
small gift from us for our chief guest, and I call upon that's downstairs. A gift, and I call upon Dr. Zainuddin to present this gift to our chief guest. Oh, Kaldeep took us. You already got it, right?
What I got so many copies as gifts.
Yeah, they want it.
Thank you. I got it.
We also have a few more presentation. One to Mr. Murtaza Yusuf Ali. Small. Thank you very much. Thank you. One more to Mr. Hussein Baila. Mr. Nilam Lincoln. Okay, I'll present it. It will be my pleasure. To Mr. Imran Khan. Come, Mr. Nilam. Once again, thank you very much. All you children will be given refreshment. Please have that and go. And I invite the chief guest, Mr. Yusuf Ali, Mr. Hussein Baila, and Mr. Nilambi. We go down to our boardroom. And the members. Before that, we'll have salawat, dua and salawat. So we'll have Mr. Isadin for the dua and thereafter salawat.
As they go forward to do their new destination, to their new journey, please protect them, Ya Allah, from evil elements, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, protect them from dragging, Ya Allah. Protect them from all harm. Oh Allah, you are our protector, Ya Allah. You are our provider, Ya Allah. Today, oh Allah, we are asking your compassion, Ya Allah. You have provided us, so that we have been able to get this one. Oh Allah, by helping these people, Ya Allah, help us also, Ya Allah. We all in need of you, Ya Allah. We all in need of you. Oh Allah, you have given us honor and blessing, Ya Allah. You have shared their knowledge equally, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, this gift was so useful even for all of us, Ya Allah, who are doing businesses, trying universities, etc. We have reached studies, we are in the last stages of our life, Ya Allah. But for us also it was a great learning, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, great eye-opener. Thank you, Allah. We should put you to send such intelligent and educated and knowledgeable people among all of us. Oh Allah, bless all those people, Ya Allah, who have actively participated in the Baithulmal in the past. Oh Allah, Farzana's father-in-law, Dr. Jamil, Justice Jamil, oh Allah. It was such a wonderful, beautiful thing, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, you gave him a beautiful mouth, Ya Allah. Oh Allah, people who are watching and talking to you, just close his eyes and right now. Oh Allah, this is the blessing of doing things for your sake. Oh Allah, let us all, Ya Allah, good departure from this world. ربنا تقبل دعانا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل
Thank you.